stuck to my back. Pokoknya, Sam so loved eating stir-fried rice cakes. William would take her over the school bowl to get some. He was nervous he could only keep drinking water. This day, Yelso was getting ready to climb over the wall. She happened to see William fighting again. She accidentally fell off the wall and landed right in William's arms. Ako minasana si Karina biglang may isa mo. Sam enters a diner and yells to get everyone's attention, saying he comes from the future and it's society will go horribly wrong soon. Nobody pays attention to him, so he starts going from table to table to get rid of all the phones. He stomps on their food as he explains that social media, selfies, and AI have eroded everyone's capacity for critical thinking. When some people try to leave, Sam rushes to lock the door and opens his jacket to show the devices actually fun. He also raises a button that reveals that these things are bombs. If anyone tries anything, he'll blow the diner up. Everyone returns to their seats except for one man who wants to stand up for himself. So Sam threatens him until he sits down. Technology and it becomes a line. People have to be hooked up to feeding tubes and catheters to survive. A powerful AI shuts human civilization down, so Sam travel back in time to find one of these who will help him stop this AI from ruining the world. A man laughs at his students. In this diner, 17 times successful. He proves this by some details on going to your next to a woman and says they had lots of feelings for each other during their adventures, but never acted on them because she always betrays him. He kisses her before yelling at a waitress without even looking at her. She was trying to call the police. He stands on a chair and asks for volunteers, even calling some people by name, but nobody reacts. At that moment, the police sirens can be heard coming closer. Sam classroom, Mark introduces himself only to realize that nobody is paying attention because they're staring at their phones. He tries to teach them about classic literature, but the kids are dismissive of ancient things. Suddenly, a student says she needs a Pepsi, repeating the brand over and over while asking for permission to get one. Later, in the teacher's lounge, Janet shares that her students pass notes to each other these years. Their messages always talk about brands, as if they were advertising to each other. The teachers also mention that another staff member has gone on sabbatical. When Mark asks about who's taking the phones out of the classroom, everyone says there's nothing they can do. The teacher admits he's frustrated too, so he shows Mark the jamming gun he's found. It's supposed to
Inside the subway station, the woman began to undress slowly and placed them orderly beside the shelves. Lisa was drawn to the woman's unusual behavior. Filled with curiosity, she tried to get a closer look. At that moment, the woman turned around. Lisa froze instantly. The woman in front of her looked exactly like her. The woman remained strangely calm upon seeing Lisa. With tears in her eyes, she glanced at Lisa once, then turned and walked toward the incoming train. Lisa was completely stunned. She had just witnessed someone who she noticed the woman's leather bag on the ground. She quickly grabbed the bag amid the chaos. Once she left the station and reached a secluded spot, from the identification inside, she learned the woman's name was Sarah. In addition, the bag contained two mobile phones and a key. Determined confirming no one was home, she began to look around. Men's clothes hung in the closet, indicating the woman lived with her boyfriend. A note from her boyfriend stated he was on vacation and would not return until Saturday. Furthermore, Lisa discovered that the bank account linked to Sarah held $75,000, a considerable sum for her. Just then, the news report stated that the identity of the woman who passed away had not yet been identified. This immediately gave Lisa the whole idea, studying her mannerisms and speech patterns, dyeing her hair the same color, and practiced copying her signature. She also demagnetized the bank card. The next day, she appeared at the bank as Sarah. Meanwhile, her close male friend John contacted the police to claim the body of the girl who had passed away, Lisa. However, the bank manager informed Lisa that large cash withdrawals required advance notice. When Lisa saw a charity trophy behind the manager, she came up with a plan. She offered to sponsor the manager's next charity project. The manager immediately agreed to let her withdraw the money the next day, and even asked if Lisa wanted to check the safe deposit box. Lisa hoped for an unexpected discovery, but only found several strange documents inside. She thought getting the money the next day would end everything, but that night, Sarah's boyfriend Paul suddenly returned home. Faced with Sarah's closest person, Lisa grew nervous. Talking too much would easily expose her, so she chose to remain silent. She barely managed to get through the night. The next morning, she escaped Paul's questions and rushed to the bank. With the manager's help, Lisa quickly received a large amount of cash. Overjoyed, she immediately drove to John's place, planning to take him and her daughter away as soon as possible to start a new life. But John was not home. Seeing her own death notice on the table, she realized John had arranged a funeral for her. She stood across the river, watching her friends hold a funeral for her. As soon as the ceremony ended, and Lisa returned to her car, someone suddenly opened the door and got in. She turned around and was horrified. It was another woman who looked exactly like her. The woman was German, and she mistook Lisa for Sarah. She said she had obtained and told Lisa to take her to meet their scientist friend immediately. But Lisa was an imposter. She had no idea what the woman was talking about and could only make excuses to refuse. Seeing Lisa's repeated refusals, the German woman warned her that the police had been tracking them. The situation was now completely beyond Lisa's understanding. All she wanted was to leave with the money. Noticing Lisa's abnormal behavior, the German woman immediately sensed something was wrong and spoke a code phrase. Staring at the bullet hole in the glass, Lisa instinctively dug for cover, narrowly avoiding the bullet aimed at her. Without hesitation, she started the car and sped away from the dangerous scene. Just then, the belonged to the woman whereabouts. Upon learning the German woman immediately urged Lisa to find the suitcase. German woman's hair and blood samples, then hung up. Lisa was terrified, but she knew she had to dispose of the body quickly. She took all items that covered the German woman's identity, then buried her body. She then cleaned the bloodstains inside the car, had the car repaired, and went to John's house. She handed John the bag full of cash, hoping to share the only joy of the day. This money was supposed to be her and her daughter's future, but when John opened the bag, he found nothing but a stack of documents. Exhausted and devastated after the day's chaos, Lisa completely broke down. In Sarah's pink phone rang again. Two women who looked exactly like her had already died. No one wanted to solve the mystery more than Lisa. After a moment of hesitation, she answered the call. It was the same voice as before. The caller told her to find the suitcase, as someone was closing in on them. Lisa had taken the German woman's hotel key card, but she buried the money, so she easily found the hotel and retrieved the stored suitcase from the front desk. She then went to a rooftop, swung the suitcase, and threw it down. When the suitcase opened, the identification documents inside shocked Lisa even more. All the people pictured looked exactly like her. Two of them were already dead. Where were the others? Lisa then found a note inside the suitcase with a name and an address. It was clearly a clue left by the German woman. She immediately went to the address. There, she saw a fourth woman who looked exactly like her. This woman was a soccer coach. When Lisa saw she was using the same model of phone as Sarah and the German woman, she suspected the coach was the one who had been calling her. She secretly followed the coach into the lounge, but the coach was hostile to Lisa's appearance, not wanting her life disrupted. Faced with Lisa's persistence, the coach only told her to wait for a call and warned her to hide her face when leaving, so her children would not see her. The next day, Lisa received a call from the coach, who told her to bring the German woman's suitcase to her house. That night, accompanied by John, Lisa went to the coach's home. She told John to wait outside and entered the house alone.
Hey, I can see that. We talked on the phone.
When yet another girl who looked identical to her walked out of the room, Lisa was completely confused. How many more women looked exactly like her? This was the fifth one she had seen with her own eyes, including the three from different countries shown in the suitcase documents. There were now 8 versions of herself in the world. At that moment, Lisa only wanted the truth, but the coach told her to hand over the suitcase quickly. That was not Lisa's style. However, she immediately said she would not give up the suitcase unless she was told the truth.
We're close. We're someone's experiment, and they're killing us off. Is that helpful?
The revelation left Lisa stunned. She had just learned that she was not human at all. That night, Lisa met a woman with glasses while carrying the suitcase. This woman turned out to be the scientist the German woman had mentioned. 6 months earlier, the German woman had found Sarah and told her that her genes were being hunted in Europe. Using her job, Sarah had found the coach and the scientist who had created them and who was trying to kill them. None of these answers were known. Now that Sarah was dead, if Lisa continued pretending to be Sarah and working at the police station, it would help them find answers faster. But the next day, shortly after Lisa arrived at the station, an anonymous call came through to Detective Black.
Actually, voice change out, so, my whole office is listening.
She was stressful right now. I'm fixing something. Horse.
I like her very much. Coach, tell us her name.
She expired.
Only Lisa understood the hidden threats in the words. The killer was warning her. Fortunately, the killer's confusing logic meant Black only understood part of the message. Black immediately left to investigate, while Lisa, being new, was left at the station to receive fingerprint comparison results. With a few words, Lisa convinced the station's computer technician to reset Sarah's computer password and learn the fingerprint verification process. She then called the scientist. Although she had destroyed her own fingerprints, the killer had already contacted Black. Worse still, she was scheduled for firearms training the next day, and Lisa had never held a gun before. The scientist told her to meet someone the next day, but the person who showed up was the coach. After learning that someone was eliminating them to cover up an illegal experiment, the coach had learned to shoot from Sarah to protect her family. Lisa was a natural, grasping gun handling instantly and hitting every target accurately within minutes. On the way back, the coach told Lisa that she had given Sarah a large sum of money, specifically to find information unavailable from official channels. She hoped Lisa could withdraw the money from the bank. Hearing this, Lisa's saying someone else knew about the money. The next day, coached by the trainer, Lisa performed well in firearms training and passed another test perfectly. Just then, they received a report. The German woman had been writing when she was killed. The two followed the clue to a residential house. During the search, Lisa found a copy of Sarah's ID inside a Bible. Without hesitation, she hid it when Black wasn't looking. At that moment, Black found a handwritten Bible verse on the wall. Lisa was about to take a closer look when she suddenly saw a gun aimed at Black through the window. She quickly tackled him to the ground. Black avoided the shot but suffered minor injuries. He told Lisa to chase the killer. It was Lisa's first pursuit, and she simply ran after the suspect. They soon reached a remote area. She waited until the suspect was far away before following, but as she was reporting her location to Black, she was attacked from behind and knocked to the ground. The attacker held a dagger, shouted Sarah's name, and in her car. Lisa decided to uncover the full truth about her identity as a clone. The next day, Black took Lisa to a location. They found the killer's stolen car at the entrance and a trail of blood on the ground. Following the blood, they reached a bathroom. Judging by the tools there, they guessed the woman had performed surgery on herself. According to the victim's mother, the only witness to the incident was an 8-year-old boy. Black approached the boy and asked if he had seen the killer's face. The boy slowly pointed his finger at Lisa beside him. Black misunderstood, thinking the boy meant the killer was a woman. Lisa asked to speak with the boy. As Lisa approached gently, the boy almost cried because Lisa looked exactly like the woman he had seen. Lisa knelt down slowly and explained she was not that woman, but the boy said the woman had left something for them. Before Lisa could see it clearly, Black placed it into an evidence bag. Back at the station, they gathered all clues for analysis. Based on previous victim wound assessments, they determined the killer was a female sniper. Yet, so far, they had found no fingerprint evidence. Just then, Lisa was suddenly called away and told there was a phone call for her. On the other end of the line was the female sniper they were hunting. The woman said her name was Helena and demanded to meet Lisa at the address she had left. Coincidentally, Black also found the killer's information. At the same time, all clues pointed to a port not far from the station. Black led his team immediately. Under Special Forces protection, they stormed the location. In an open area, they found a blood-stained mattress. Lisa noticed small figures drawn all over the wall, all surrounding one figure marked with a question mark, as if hinting at something, but there was no sign of the killer. Meanwhile, the killer disguised herself as Lisa and snuck into the police station. She entered the meeting room and dismissed officers. Staring at the clues about herself on the wall, she smiled coldly. Black and his team returned to the station empty-handed, only to be shocked by what they saw in the meeting room. The clues had been arranged into the shape of a human body, a blatant provocation. Lisa immediately received a call from the killer Helena. Helena pressed her phone and sent an email to Lisa's computer. When Lisa opened it, she found a video and a mysterious address attached. She wrote the address in a notebook, took her weapon, and went to the house Helena had mentioned. Facing this ruthless, unprincipled killer, Lisa punched her, leaving her incapacitated. Helena firmly believed that she was the original clone and intended to kill all the others. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Black had arrived. Faced with the girl who looked exactly like her, Lisa could not bring herself to kill her. She pushed Helena toward the window and told her to run. Receiving no answer, Black kicked the door open. Helena had already escaped. Lisa was taken back to the station. In front of the chief, she said she was unfit to be a police officer and submitted her resignation. Meanwhile, the escaped Helena collapsed outside the building from exhaustion. Through blurred vision, she felt a large hand on her head. A mysterious figure picked her up, put her in a car, and drove away. That night, Lisa had a nightmare. She dreamed she was tied to a bed, surrounded by people performing endless experiments on her. But when she brushed her teeth the next morning, she spat out an electrode used in experiments. Could that have been more than just a dream? Due to copyright restrictions, we can only tell the story up to here. See you next time. This boy
The nurse loved to sit on patients while performing CPR, but within a month, when the sneeze and the mummy were singing for 1,000 years ago, the camera was even in the cabinet when he stepped out.
Eventually, as the dog accidentally knocked over a cabinet full of chemical solutions, the scientists never imagined that it could completely fuse with the chemicals and gain incredible superpowers as a result. The scientists immediately locked down the lab trying to catch him, but the dog smashed straight through the 30-foot thick steel door and escaped with needles that way. With nowhere to go, they could only scavenge for food in the garbage. Suddenly, 3 stray dogs surrounded, threatening the little dog to leave their territory. Not yet aware of its extraordinary abilities, the frightened dog turned and bolted. As it was running away, a car slammed into the car. The driver got out the chair, only to find the little dog standing up completely uncovered. He was stunned and decided on the spot to take it home and adopt it. But what he didn't notice was that the car's bumper had a dent the size of an egg smashed into it. The next day, the dog followed a delicious smell to the can of food. With just a gentle bite, the can exploded open from both sides, splattering food all over the walls. Afraid of being kicked out by its owner, he quickly tried to clean up the mess. Just then, the mailman arrived to deliver the package. The dog poked his head out the window and barked once. The mailman was about to laugh, but the barks covered him with astonishment. The window glass shattered, and even the mailman's glasses exploded, sparkling, terrified.
To stop them, the girl was lying on the floor.
Gently
记得多少？我看着把美国女的美女叫嘛，每到这类的是在美国的啊，每次我还是见到这些，那别说话了，这是这里的，不能不。U.S. soldier spot out Dean Oakes. The billionaire noticed his wife had changed. Used to dislike him for being mute. Now she would start conversations with him. The man really liked this talkative version of his wife. When he came home at night, the girl would tell him what she had been doing. She tried to stand up, but slipped there stepping on a pan. The girl accidentally pulled open the man's shirt. She admired how good his body looked. This made the man feel very shy. Just then the servant said the bathroom was ready. The man quickly went to freshen up. When the girl walked into the bathroom, she saw that the shower height had been adjusted. She thought the man was very thoughtful. After washing out, she thanked him and said she wanted to give him a gift. The girl pulled the man under the blanket. She took out her favorite glow-in-the-dark watch and gave it to him. At that moment, the man felt the girl was his light. The next day at work, the man saw the girl's project plan. He decided to visit her at the site. Her friend happened to be there too. She sprayed perfume all over herself, but the man refused to let her get close. The friend was jealous that the girl had married the man, so while the girl was giving her speech, she secretly turned off the power. The room went completely dark. The girl almost fell off the stage. The man rushed over and caught her. The girl asked how he knew where she was. The grandson comes home from school. Carrying had emotional words. His grandmother's only question. Straight in the kitchen was high frustration. The silent distress from him. She immediately puts her phone down and followed him. Approaching the kitchen, he overtook the young man stand. 你呢個我意思係我嚟你講嘢啦。
Sometime later, Nintendo fixes his car when it breaks down. It's invited inviting him to dinner in his house, and Jack gets to hear Benedetto's stories about his relationship with the townsman. He has a picture of Fabio, again, Benedetto worries about because he's a good man, but he may be involved in some illegal things. Jack wonders if Benedetto ever wanted to get another priest.
The coach actually wanted his team to lose, so he secretly mixed laxatives into the strikers' drink. The striker felt completely old and schooled. The coach stopped, running like lightning, weaving past a third laxative drink. Yet again, the striker returned stronger than before, dribbling effortlessly through opponents and even tricking the goalkeeper. But suddenly, he clutched his stomach and bolted straight to the bathroom. The laxative had finally kicked in. The coach sighed in relief, thinking his plan had finally worked. But then he realized the team's goalkeeper was too good. The opponents still couldn't score. Determined to make them lose, the coach replaced the skilled goalkeeper with a clumsy new player. At first, the plan worked perfect. The opponents scored a goal right away. The coach smiled, thinking victory was out of reach. But what he didn't know was that the new goalkeeper was secretly a golden ball specialist. From that moment on, no matter how many shots the opponents took, he blocked every single one with lightning reflexes. The fans went wild, but the coach's heart sank. Then came the final moment. A free kick. Desperate, the coach sent in a substitute, a boy with slightly crossed eyes, always messed up his passes. Just as the game was about to end, the striker came running back from the bathroom. The boy tried to pass the ball to him, but by accident, he kicked it straight into the goal. The crowd erupted in cheers, and the coach stood frozen in disbelief. After all his scheming, his team still had nothing. The coach actually wanted his team to lose, so he secretly mixed laxative.
We casually dug out a diamond the size of an egg, and the entire cave was filled with diamonds like that. So he quickly started digging diamonds from the cave wall, then stuffed them one by one into his backpack. Suddenly they heard a cracking sound beneath their feet. That's when they realized they were standing on a thin layer of mica rock. The three of them tried to tiptoe back the way they came. Following birds and started flew into another tunnel. The three of them immediately followed the birds through the tunnel and were completely stunned by what they saw. There was an entire underground world with mountains, water, and even living creatures. The Earth's core glowed and radiated heat like the sun. The dead.
This is the best.
U.S. soldier spotted a boy picking up an AK-47 from his sniper scope. The boy the man suddenly woke up in the middle of the road and narrowly avoided a speeding truck on the last second. He thought it was just a strange coincidence. Calmly, he returned home and went to sleep. But in the morning, he woke up on the roof of his own house. Panicking, he checked security camera footage and saw that during the night, he had gotten up in his sleep, climbed an 8-meter ladder, and reached the roof. At that point, his fear became real. He locked the door, threw away the keys, and hoped everything went in and he would wake up safely in his bed. The next morning, he opened his eyes and the dark was